I'd like to call a meeting to order of the Park and Recreation Commission meeting, Thursday, April 27th. We do have a quorum. Mr. Starl, Mr. Carter, and Sarah Bratz are absent and excused. We will do a Pledge of Allegiance now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'd like to welcome new commissioners.
Aye.
Justice Model is going to be the Common Council representative, and Sarah Bratz is appointed, and she's not here today.
Sarah has a band concert this evening. She is a teacher in Jackson, so she's busy with that, but was sad she could not attend her first meeting she was appointed to.
At least we have a quorum without her. And I see our two former commissioners are in the audience here, Randy Kaler, Mike Chevalier. Just want to thank you guys for your dedication and commitment to the commission. You guys will both be missed, so.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You're going to come every month? All right, now we have commission elections. Mike Starl's not here, but he did say that he would like to continue as a chairperson, if anyone would like to nominate him. We got a nomination. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I would love to be secretary yet if you guys want to make a motion.
I moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. I'm not going to give you a chance to say no. Thank you. Okay, unfinished business. Is there anything, Mike?
No, not this evening.
Okay, then we have new business. Park hours, proposed ordinance change.
All right, thank you. With all the new and exciting development in the downtown area, we took a strong look at our current ordinance, our park hours ordinance. For the Riverwalk sections down there, they would officially be open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And that really doesn't work any longer for all the different urban development and construction and residential development that we have in and around the downtown area. So we sat down, reviewed the proposal that's before you this evening. We reviewed it with staff. We met with the police department. It's ultimately PD. They're the ones who need to enforce these laws and these guidances and things of that nature. So the police department is on board with what we are proposing this evening. And that proposal is to allow the Riverwalk sections to be open 24 hours a day. And those sections are laid out in here. It would go from the south end, from Veterans Avenue north under Washington Street, excuse me, and north of Wash all the way up to Silverbrook Drive and North Main. That would include the one public parking lot downtown that right now it's a construction storage site, the one that's right along Washington Street. And also in this proposal, we are looking at adding Kister Island parking lot, which is right across the street from Regner Park in the 24-hour ordinance or allowance. The Kister lot is going to be used more often now with some new development that's pending in the River Shores area, also the district development, and maybe even a little bit of overflow for downtown. Again, we reviewed all of this in like the parking lot with PD. Police department said with that parking lot, you can park in there for 24 hours and you have to move your vehicle 75 feet. So just like our parking lots in the downtown, our public parking lots, many of those lots are laid out the same way. We don't see boats and campers and broken down vehicles and things like that. They have enforcement methods that they can use to make sure that the parking lots will be used as parking lots and not for storage of junker vehicles and cars and all of that stuff. So PD is very confident in being able to enforce any of this along the Riverwalk or that parking lot. Dan and I reviewed it with them, and the chief and Captain Rowling were laying out all kinds of different scenarios that they could address different concerns immediately if they needed to in these areas. So that's why we are bringing this before the commission for a 24 allowance in those areas. Thank you.
Yeah, if the police are okay with it and your department's okay with it, I see
Yeah.
no reason why we
Yeah.
shouldn't approve it. I was glad to see that we're opening up the Riverwalk
Yeah.
so people can walk through on their way home from restaurants and stuff.
Sure, like the new district development, if you live there, you get home from work, you park your vehicle, you want to walk under Washington Street, go downtown, have dinner and some entertainment. Oh, it's 10:55, I better hurry up and get home. No, that doesn't make a lot of sense, so.
I move to approve the ordinance changes.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, it says, the ordinance said there's a historical, what are the historical sites? Special historical sites. I don't know why it doesn't identify those. I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, now you threw me for a curveball. You're gonna play a
Second.
lot or special historical sites. So, the one area that could actually be classified as a historical site could be like Old Settlers Park, something of that nature. That is actually laid or called out already in the current ordinance, Old Settlers Vest Pocket. Why is it in there, Mike? That's way before my time, but I would assume it'd be something of that nature. That was classified, a different classification, because we have parks, we have play lots, we have neighborhood parks,
Right.
community parks, things like that. So it's probably just a general classification. But in the proposed ordinance, just like our current ordinance, anything that's 24 hours, we lay that out. It's specific in there. So that way it's specific for PD, that when they're enforcing this, it's laid out exactly. Old Settlers Park, Vest Pocket Park, this section of Riverwalk, things like that, so.
Perfect. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Special events, Lightning Softball Tournament.
Oh, we got one right before that, Mike.
Oh, Riverside Park Batting Cage.
All right, I will take this one also. Okay, West Bend is a big baseball and softball community, and our fields, Little League fields, any athletic surface like that in and around the West Bend area are gold come this time of the year and throughout the summer. Locally, many of these organizations struggle to find a home field, practice fields, etc. The Thunder organization, which is a local nonprofit self-sustaining organization, a great group of people, actually really awesome community leaders came to us and said, the Warriors group is no longer using the field at Riverside as their home field. Could the Thunder organization adopt it? Thunder's, again, it's a great group of people. They don't just go and coach and teach baseball. They teach these young people how to be citizens in their community. Some of their teams have volunteered, like out at Lac Loran and things like that. So it's not just a athletic association. They're trying to positively impact their community, our community, and teach those youngsters a little bit of self-pride and want, with what they have. So Thunder Baseball came to us and said, hey, can we use Riverside Park as our home field? And with that comes early registration. We will allow a team like that to come in, be able to schedule their games and practices before anyone else, and that's huge. That's huge in a community like this. So talking to the group, it was decided that we would really like to partner with them, and Thunder also came up with the idea of wanting some batting cages over at Riverside Park. So long story short, Thunder has put together a fundraising campaign. They're looking at raising $40,000 to construct some batting cages over at Riverside Ball Diamond. It would be all fenced in. It would be a nice situation. Dan's guys would support the installation of that. When it does come to fruition, I'm not saying if, but I'm saying when, it would be donated to the city, be owned by the city, like many of our other amenities. So basically, the proposal before the commission this evening is that the city would support the fundraising proposal for the new batting cages at Riverside. The Thunder Baseball Organization would receive priority scheduling after our department programs have been scheduled, and Thunder would be required to pay the standard rental fee when they're using the field, and Thunder would continue field preparation for their own games. So they are doing a lot to basically get that field as their home field and the ability to have priority scheduling, things like that. So that's kind of the highlight of it. We do have a representative here this evening with Thunder. Doug, if you want to come up to the podium. Doug's going to give us a little bit more information on their campaign and kind of what's going on. So, Doug?
Yeah, thank you much. My name is Doug Rodeman. I volunteer with West Bend Thunder Baseball and serve as the chair for what we call our Community Connections Committee. So I guess I just share a little bit about West Bend Thunder Baseball and then kind of work to how we got to the point of wanting to make this investment into our community. West Bend Thunder was established in 2010 and currently hosts teams from the 3rd through 8th grade level. We became an independent baseball club in 2020 and a 501c3 as well. And through that process, we codified a mission and core values. And we exist to provide a positive and competitive baseball experience while teaching the value of family, team, and community. And these core values we hold up as what we call Thunder Excellence are commitment, respect, integrity, and effort. And as Mike alluded to, we strive to embody that into the youth that we coach and the families that we partner with. All the players and families are from the West Bend area, and our families are great. They take a lot of pride in representing our community as we compete in a state league, a Wisconsin State Youth Baseball League. So the community connection side of this began with the formation of this committee to be more than just about fundraising for a baseball club. We wanted to help Thunder Baseball invest into the community of West Bend, and then out of that, hopefully, the community of West Bend wants to invest into Thunder Baseball as well. So we do this through public baseball clinics that then benefit the Full Shelf Food Pantry, for instance. We don't collect a dime, we just collect donations and give to the Full Shelf Food Pantry. We've done that twice. We started a Thunder Gives Back program in which we planned 5 volunteers events for nonprofits like the Lac Loren Group, Love Over Hate Project, Volunteer Center of Washington County, Honor Flight, Salvation Army, a number of events for our families to be involved in. And we're doing our second community cookout, which is actually this weekend at Sausage Plus, so please stop on by, in partnership with the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight. And last year, we were really blessed with funds. We were able to send 6 veterans on the flight on behalf of our program in partnership with that organization. So we came up with the idea of the Riverside batting cage not only because we need home field and opportunities and places to play, but because we wanted to make a jump into the community with some infrastructure that says Thunder is serious about trying to give back, not just for the sake of our program, but in a way that the public can actually use it, enjoy the game of baseball. So we connected with Mike and his team, and we're looking to have them do the install. As he said, we're looking to put in 2 70-foot batting nets that would be fenced and tied into the existing fencing at that facility. There would be a access gate as well as a man gate to kind of govern how those things are opened up. We hope this is a public facility. The other 2 batting cages in West Bend right now are on private property or privately managed areas in a way that we can't always use. And we hope that anybody in our community can use these things as long as rules are followed and they treat the facility appropriately, like anything else in our Parks Department. So along with the cages would be L fencing and pitching mound, 3 separate hitting stations right next to it to get the best when we have games there and the opponents to have games there or anybody else to come and get better at a game for parents and kids from the community to come out. So the current estimates are $40,000 for the equipment side of it. Thunder has committed the first $10,000 out of our program fund. We are currently seeking a $10,000 match of that commitment that we've put forward. And then we are working through fundraising and then additional program sponsors throughout this year to raise the remaining $20,000 of that current estimate. So we really see this as a continued investment into the public infrastructure of Riverside. As mentioned, baseball clubs have put a lot of time and energy into that, and Thunder wants to be a part of that good work with the Parks and Rec Department, just to serve our community and have a place for any kid to get better and enjoy the game of baseball.
Very good. Thank you, Doug.
Yep, thank you.
I have a question. In your letter, it says they would get naming rights to the facility. Are you talking the baseball park or just the batting cage?
Just the batting cage itself. We don't want to step on the toes and reputation of the people that have made that field what it is now. There's current signage there, and that deserves to be honored. So this would just be on the batting cage itself. Yeah.
And we have the Father's Day tournament there. Will you work with the Little League? Every year they have the Father's Day tournament.
Yeah, we are tenants to the field. So although we get first scheduling, we would gladly work with other community organizations to make sure the facility can get used.
Those other priorities are honored, through the agreement. The one big thing, again, is for an organization like Thunder, if they can get their games, the majority of their games and practices scheduled early in the season, they kind of have that guaranteed for that. That's what's really important, early in the year. Obviously, they want a good playing surface and some improvements, things like that. But if they can call that their home field and they can kind of have those guaranteed dates, that's important. So,
No, that's fantastic. We'd love to be partners with you guys.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Otherwise, does somebody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second?
And I just have to say thank you. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me, the kind of organizations we have in West Bend that step up and do this kind of thing. It's absolutely fabulous. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the encouragement and support. Yeah.
Any other questions? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Great. Thank you.
Good luck with your fundraising.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
thanks, Doug.
Now we could do the West Bend Lightning softball tournament.
All right, the West Bend Little League is the parent organization, is requesting to host the Lightning Softball Tournament in June 9th, 10th, and 11th. This will be at Quas Creek Park on all three fields. We would have standard tournament prep by staff, standard softball tournament package. The West Bend Little League is, again, required to carry the proper insurance for their tournament, things like that. One highlight I want to note is on the bottom that there are no fees for this tournament because this is part of the MOU that we have with the West Bend Athletic Association, or codenamed the Softball Association. So that is kind of built into that agreement. But we want to bring these before the commission, so those agreements and these situations are out there, because not everything's different, but some of them are with, some of the different agreements that we have, so.
Yeah, and this tournament goes on every year.
Yeah, it is, it's an annual tournament, yes.
Okay, any discussion? Otherwise, somebody has a
Move to
motion?
approve.
Second.
Motion, and there's a second? No other discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And special event, a Little League Father's Day tournament.
All right, West Bend Little League is requesting their annual Father's Day tournament. This year it would be June 16th, 17th, and 18th. Standard tournament field prep for baseball. They are again looking at hosting a tournament with 72 teams from around Wisconsin and Illinois. Sorry, my voice is going a little bit. Again, the standard insurance situation with the agreements out at Quas Creek and Carl Cuss Field. There will be no fees charged to that tournament for those. Again, the different memorandum of understandings. But with the softball field or the baseball field at Riverside, we do have the standard fee there and the impact fee that they would be required to pay. That is standard again from year to year.
The total should be $460.
Is it four? Oh, sorry. Must be either me or my calculator. I'll go with me.
Of course.
So, yeah. Thank you, Carol.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve with that change.
Second.
Any other discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And special event, Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's.
Oh, we have one more right before that, Mike, the Nitro.
Oh, I just keep crossing them off.
Yeah. Well, I'll just jump into it. Nitro softball is requesting approval for both of their tournaments. The first one is in July 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and this year they moved their second tournament to September. So it'll be September 15th, 16th, and 17th. Again, this will be at Quas Creek Park on all three fields. And if you look down below, again, there will be no charge for these tournaments because that is part of the agreement. Nitro is part of the West Bend Athletic Association.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. How about number 6, special events, Alzheimer's?
All right, number 6, the Alzheimer's Association is requesting to do their event and their Walk to End Alzheimer's, September 16th, 2023. The organization is working with the clerk's office and the police department, clerks specifically for food and alcohol beverage licenses and permits. Special event permit is also through the clerk's office. The police department is working with them on their walk route. It would be the same as what we've had in the past. Again, standard insurance, standard special event information. For park staff, it would be standard event preparation in Regner Park. The event, again, would be held in the Regner Entertainment area, utilizing all of those facilities.
Okay, like all of these, they do it every year, so we approve these every year.
Move to approve.
Is there a
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that's it for the new business? Donations.
Rick, you want to start?
Sure, we've received $100 in donations from various citizens as part of the ongoing fundraising efforts for the Olive Buildings Playground. Thank you to those citizens of West Bend. The next one I
Well,
have.
you have your sheets right there.
The next one I have is a donation from the West Bend Friends of Park and Recreation in the amount of $7,000. This is a donation towards the improvements to the Regner Park asphalt trails. Additionally, for that same project, from Enchantment in the Park, we have a donation of $15,000 towards the trail renovation project. So thank you to Enchantment in the Park and West Bend Friends of Parks and Rec.
All right, I have 3 donations to report tonight. The first one is from West Bend Friends of Parks and Recreation for $10,000, which was used for the Regner Beach House renovation. And I would like to note that this donation is the second installment of the additional $30,000 commitment to the beach house renovation project. And the final $10,000 installment shall be given in 2024. So thank you to the Friends of Parks and Recreation for that. The second one that I have is also from the Friends of Parks and Recreation for $288. This is for their sponsorship of the Adult Volleyball League Championship t-shirts that we purchase every year. So thank you again to the West Bend Friends of Parks and Recreation for that support. And the last donation that I have is from the Enchantment in the Park group for $10,000 for the Regner Beach House renovation. And again, would like to highlight that this donation is the second installment of a $30,000 commitment to the beach house renovation project, and the remaining $10,000 shall be given in the final installment in 2024. So thank you to Enchantment in the Park for that.
I have 2 donations to speak of this evening. The first one is from the West Bend Disc Golf Club for $160 for multiple disc golf improvements for the course. I'd like to thank Josh Ham and his group with that. Second one I have is for $1,000, and that's from Whitetails Unlimited, and that's actually for some archery range improvements, which we're going to be looking at doing this year. So thank you to Whitetails Unlimited for the nice donation.
It's great. Every month we approve these donations. Citizens just keep stepping up. It's great. Is there a motion to approve all these?
Motion to approve.
Is there a
Yeah,
second?
Second with our gratitude.
Is there any other discussion?
Ditto on the gratitude.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thanks again. Chairman, is that where we're at?
Yes.
Mike's not here, but I'm sure if he was here, he would thank you for voting him as chairman again. Maybe he'll be here next month. And for secretary, remember the Lac Loran wildflower sale is May 13th. And there's so many things going on at Regner with the Riverwalk going on. There's also the beach house parking lot and the parking lot and then light poles going up now too. So it's nice to see all these renovations. Okay, quarterly trust report.
All right, I'll take that one. The quarterly trust report, the only increases you'll really notice for this time around are for the dog park, which I'm just going to use this opportunity then to kind of review what we've done in the past with our dog park and those fees and those donations and kind of where we want to be going. So again, annually we collect $25 per user out at the dog park. That's a non-resident resident fee. It just makes it easier for collecting fees and things like that, just to do it the same rate. Annually, and those fees that are generated are used inside the dog park. And that is the agreement that we have with that organization. So if we wanted to remodel the barn that's out there, that's outside the dog park. We couldn't use that. If we want to expand the park and build a playground or something out there, we wouldn't be able to use those funds. It's specifically for the dog park. Annually, the revenues are right around $17,000 a year, and our expenditures on an annual basis are around $11,000 a year. Expenditures annually are doggy waste bags, if they need a bench replacement, a table replacement. Dan, I think they bought a snow blower and a lawnmower in recent years, things like that. A couple years ago, we constructed a couple of shelters out there. Prior to that, it was some asphalt work, things like that. So right now, we currently have $55,000 in that account. Mike mentioned some of the projects we're working on. We're a little busy right now, but once we get into this year a little bit, we like to sit down with the dog park folks again and kind of reestablish some future priorities, maybe a 1 to 3 year list, a 5-year list, a 20-year list, something like that. So we're financially in a great situation, and I'm not suggesting that, oh, we have the money, let's hurry up and spend it on another shelter or something. Let's lay out some priorities. We might have some priorities, but again, I'm not out there every day, so that's why we're fortunate to have a group like that we can sit down and together figure out a long-term plan, some solutions, things like that. So we're financially in a very good situation. It's really just a success story with our dog park. So, thank you. Any questions? We don't need an approval on this, Mike.
Are we
so.
talking about the dog park on 18th?
Yep,
there?
the one
Is that the only dog park?
that's the only one.
That
Yep.
we have as a park system?
Correct,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Yep. Dogs are allowed in parks, except for Regner and Lac Loran, but our dog park, they are off leash. And our dog park, it's not only a social environment for the dogs, it also is for the dogs' owners.
I've used
So,
that park. It's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope, it's always a great group of people, things like that, and yeah.
What's an example of your priority for that park?
The last time we really sat down and looked at priorities, possibly be some additional solar lights. We have no electricity on the property. Some solar lights, maybe extending that asphalt path a little bit. And I know it's some bigger ticket items that they like to bring out there. Something as simple as electricity, because we don't have any on the property, and even water, a water source out there. And there's always talk of, do we do a doggy bathing pool or this or that or something? If we would be able to have just a water source for people to fill water jugs for the dogs and things like that, that in itself would be,
And that's just tapping into the city line off the street.
yeah,
there.
yeah. So, but it all takes time, some money and things
Yeah,
like
it's not
that.
cheap,
So,
right? No, right.
so no, that's why it's time that we, again, financially, we're in a great spot. It's time we sit down and review some priorities. And again, my priorities might be different than theirs, so we need to make sure we listen to them. So, Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you should have gotten the email, the report from Courtney, Conservation Supervisor. And Park Project Manager, Rick?
An update on a few of the projects that we have in progress right now. I reported last month that the tree surety contract would likely begin in May. However, favorable weather has moved the schedule up. Digging started in mid-April, and our contractor jumped right on it. He's got about a dozen trees left, and it'll be wrapped up. He will have planted 294 trees across the city in the right-of-way. Next project, the Regner Beach House parking lot. Bids were received on March 24th, the day after our last meeting. Bids were well within budget. It gives us some flexibility on the improvements. In addition to the new parking lot being constructed next to the beach house, we'll be also making improvements to the existing parking lot just north of that, as well as the trail improvements I mentioned earlier in donations, and the north entry loop drive will also get a seal coat. Next project, Camp Lodge renovations. We've moved forward with purchase orders to vendors and contractors to replace the windows in the building as well as the two doors. And we're going to install a gas fireplace insert into the fireplace. The masonry repairs are somewhat cost prohibitive, and this will be more efficient for heating. The next project, Regner's Main Street entry arch is moving forward. We've refined the design and are working with a design consultant for budget estimates, and from there we'll proceed upon approval of the budget, hopefully go into construction document phase with the goal of bidding the project. And finally, at LLC, we have received approval from their board for 2 new solar lights in the parking lot. Those lights have been ordered and are expected to be delivered in early June for installation by Parks Rec Forestry staff. That's about all I have at this point.
What was what was the project you said just before that last one, the Main Street arch?
Main Street entry arch.
Is that-
At the entrance off of Main Street, where we have the existing columns and a low entry wall, there have been design concepts over the years and to create an arch to promote or further celebrate the entrance to Regner off of Main Street. And so we've been working with the Regner Rejuvenation Committee for the last couple of months to go back and re-look at that design that originally was started, I think, in 2015, and then tabled for a period of time. So
Nice, that'll be interesting to see that.
Pictures on the agenda packet for last month.
Okay,
If you want to look it up.
It'll be something that would come before commission, yet justice for approval.
Okay.
Move forward.
okay. Nice.
Any other questions? Otherwise, Ryan?
All right, I will just briefly touch on recreation and swimming lessons, Regner Beach, and the mud run. So starting with recreation and swimming lessons, spring track and field, baseball, soccer, and archery are all off and running. I'm happy with the enrollment for all of them. Archery has 3 classes that are all full, and then with every group of soccer and baseball, there's 20, give or take, in each group. And then spring track has 39, so off to a good start there. Summer recreation and swimming lesson registration is up and running for about, or it has been for about a month now. A handful of the programs are already full, which is awesome to see. It's a good problem to have in some instances because we're able to kind of take the maximum enrollment that we started with and adjust it where we're able to allow more participants into it. So with our tennis league, we've done that with the older age group, and then a new program that we started with Monica, our dance instructor. We've bumped the numbers for that to allow everyone in to a certain extent. And the dance recital for the fall to winter program is the Saturday at the West Bend High School Auditorium. There's going to be 2 shows starting at 1:30 and 3:30 is the second one, and it's going to be live streamed on the city's community TV website as it has been in the past. So a good exhibit of all of the dancers and the hard work that they've been putting in over the last 6-7 months or so. So it'll be a good time on Saturday. Moving on to Regner Beach. For the lifeguarding, I have 2 final lifeguards that are waiting to complete the lifeguarding course in May at the YMCA. Regardless of their results, I'm going to be full for the summer and all of my staffing there. So I either add 1 or 2 more, or 0, I guess, if they wouldn't pass. So excited to move forward with the staff I have. Currently waiting on lifeguard and beach house attendants to submit their availability forms. So I've mailed or emailed out a form to everyone that's going to be working in Regner, whether they're a lifeguard or a beach house attendant, trying to get their availability for the summer. And then from there, it's trying to fit together 30 to 40 schedules. So that's a fun puzzle to try and solve. And then 2 supervisor lifeguards have been chosen. Both of them have numerous years of lifeguarding experience. They're both currently teaching swimming lessons at the pool on the weekends. So once they're both enrolled in college currently, so once their courses are done in mid-May, we're going to be spending some time out at Regner and then getting them the additional training that they'll need as supervisors and up to speed with everything there. So lastly, the mud run. So as of 4 o'clock today, the current enrollment count was 1,132. To kind of compare that to where we were last year in 2022 on this date, we were at 1,013, so just over 100 higher than we were last year, so great to see. I have been working with Jacob and Jess in our communications department. We're looking into running some campaigned or paid marketing, which would be similar to what we did for the lifeguarding recruitment, so we would target people within a 40-mile radius roughly of West Bend, just to try and make sure that we're reaching the largest audience possible. And then the sponsorships for all of the mud run is going to be finalized tomorrow. There's still a few feelers out there, but we have decided that tomorrow's a hard end date for that. So regardless of the results of that, we will get all of the logos for the sponsors and then pass them on to KBS Graphics to get the 2,650 shirts made and ordered. So that is all that I have.
Did we modify the age group capacities like we talked about last year?
We did. So we broke apart the 6-year-olds, so they're standalone now. And that, I believe we set the maximum enrollment for 6-year-olds at 250, and it's at 190 right now, give or take. So it looks like that was a smart decision that we all made together.
Were the 6-year-olds problematic?
We just felt like by separating them, looking at the metrics that we had last year, separating them made the most sense, and then we lengthened their course a little bit also. So
Okay.
they were, yeah,
Balances them a little bit.
right.
An age group filled up early.
Yeah, last year we had to turn away some of those from that age group.
I see, okay. So
And even at the day of the event, the 4 to 6-year-old group, they were standing in line for 30 minutes or so, something like that. So we're by doing this, we're hoping that the experience for the child and the parents, it's going to be a better experience.
Sure.
Less standing around, things like that. So,
yeah. The number, I'm always serving at the end of the run, just putting on medals, and so I see a little bit where things get bottlenecked and kind of goofy, but considering the number of kids and parents and mayhem and mess that's out there, the fact that it all runs so smoothly is just incredible. Yeah, so the people doing that, you guys are doing a great job, really.
Thank you.
Anything else for Ryan? Otherwise, Dan?
All right. I'm going to touch base because I'm working with Rick and with Ryan on some things, which Ryan didn't talk about was we installed a new archery shed out at the archery range. He worked on that this winter, got a full metal archery shed, everything. The last one was completely covered with mice. They were destroying the targets. So with some of that money from Whitetails Unlimited, I don't think that'll be used for that, but we will be doing some improvements to the archery range. We'll be pouring cement pads under all of the targets, rebuilding all the structures. We're kind of having an issue. We replaced all the covers on all the targets out there, and people keep using broadheads. So we've had those targets up for 3 days, and they're already tore open. We have signs up, so I'm just not sure what we're going to do. We're just going to have to keep more of an eye on it. So, but that's one of the things we're working on with the archery range. Also, Ryan touched on the swim pond. The same contractor that's doing the parking lot is going to be dredging out the diving well for us. And once he does that, then we can start filling it and getting things prepped. We're bringing back some experience with a prior employee that retired. That's going to help some of our younger employees set up the roping and everything. We moved one lifeguard stand and we installed an additional one on the beach. So now we're going to have 5 stands. Ryan and I were working on that together. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. The pond's going to be, it's going to be booming this year, I think, especially with everything that's going on. Very positive. Yep. So we did remove the old pier at LLC. We installed a new pier there. The last one was held together with stop signs and no parking signs and was underwater half the time. So this one will be a little bit better. We're working with the Baseball Association with the new lights. We had to open up the fence repairs we did last year for the batting tunnels. We had to open that back up. We took down 5 light poles around the tennis courts in Regner that were probably older than anyone in this room. So they probably should have been taken down a while ago. But so we had to open that up because one of the new poles is going into the batting tunnel area. So working on that. The guys just started spring stump grinding yesterday. We have about 95 stumps that we're doing this spring. We got a new mowing contractor. We had some issues with the one last year, so I got a new one. He actually went through all the properties in the last 2 days and got everything caught back up. So if he keeps on this pace, it's a very wise change. So I have all the seasonal employees hired for the summer. We're sitting at 14 seasonal employees. The last thing I got going is with Rick. We've been working with a contractor about some concrete replacement up at Barton Pavilion. It's becoming a very popular rental. We're actually going to do a lot of removal and do some changes up there, keeping some trees instead of having to remove the trees for the concrete, turning some of that into turf. We're removing the Barton light poles that are up for the baseball field. They don't get used. I had power disconnected this week by We Energies and a contractor. We're going to take all those poles down. A couple of those poles are going to be reused in a project over at Bicentennial for a new bridge that goes around the retaining pond. So a lot of things going on. Things are really ramping up.
A lot going on.
Just can't take a breath.
We were at the fishing clinic a couple weeks ago at the fishing pond, and your staff really cleaned that up nice.
Good.
There were
I appreciate that.
569 kids were registered, so there's
Nice.
hundreds of families down there checking out the park.
It's a good event. It brings a lot of people into early in the season.
So archery range, is that utilized a lot?
Yeah, and it's normally you would think right before deer hunting season starts, but Ryan uses it for classes, but on top of that, there's people out there multiple nights a week during the day, second, third shifters. Yeah, we have crossbow targets out there too, so I'm not sure if some of that's coming from that as well, but it just needs a little bit of facelift, and that money we got from Whitetails Unlimited, it'll go a long ways to help that.
It does. That's awesome that you guys are doing that. I've been out there a few times. It's just the fact that we have an archery park is so
Yeah.
cool. And stop using your freaking broadheads. Jeez.
Well, we just call them broadheads, but anyways.
Any other questions? Mike?
I will try and make this quick, but we throughout the evening, we've mentioned all the different groups we work with, the archery range, disc golf course. We're going to have some new improvements out there this year. The dog park, our friends now at the Thunder Group. We have a really cool park system in West Bend, and we can make it this good. Our community really makes it that step up. But it's the donations, it's the volunteer time, it's the commitment, it's our staff working with these different groups to get these improvements installed. And I like to think also, we don't do things the cheap way. You look at our disc golf course, it's done right. You look at the archery range, it's done right. The work we're gonna do with our Thunder group, it's gonna be done right. So it's a lot of fun working with all these different organizations. I've said it a lot of times, I think West Bend is just a really awesome community doing a lot of cool things. So thank you to all those groups. In the past, within the city, we always had a weekly newsletter that went out on Fridays, and most of that was just to internal emails. It was about 300 emails that were receiving that. Last week, it kind of went public, and I think like 6,800 emails received this newsletter. If the commissioners and you two gentlemen out there want to receive the weekly email updates, please let me know. If you're not getting it, you want it, or if you are getting it, you can tell them not to send it to you. But it's different things that from different departments. If our guys are putting in an archery shed, that might be submitted, or the raft and things like that. So if you want to kind of be up to date with what the city's doing, or city staff, let me know. We can get you on that email list. Downtown Riverwalk is on schedule. Phase 2 is on schedule. Phase 3 is ahead of schedule. Alley work is moving along nicely down there. Next week, we will have that south pedestrian bridge closed. We will be removing the wooden deck under, pouring a concrete deck on Wednesday. Wednesday, Veterans Avenue will be closed for several hours in the morning to facilitate that pour. Need to put a long conveyor out on the road to pump the concrete across and all that good stuff. So that is that. Chasing the Bone Adventure Challenge will be this weekend in West Bend. The folks will be starting in Regner, Kister Island parking lot, canoeing down the river, biking through the town, orienteering out at Glacier Blue Hills, and then finishing up in Regner. So first year for this event, we look forward to future years with this organization. Another very cool group that we're blessed to be working with. And lastly, I just wanted to thank two gentlemen that are here tonight as special guests. Randy Kaler and Mike Chevalier. Both gentlemen served this community as council members. They did it for numerous years. They were on numerous committees. They were both park commissioners. I always appreciated their value, their history, their experience, their knowledge, that always supported our growth and where we are going. Again, as an organization, our commission is very important to us. Support us. They assist with policies, direction. You are our conduit with our community. So I always appreciated that. And Mike and Randy, they never pulled any punches, and I always respected that. I did. If there was something to be said, they would let me hear it or let us all know about it. And that's what we need. Even if they disagreed with a certain direction we were going on something or whatever it might have been, it didn't matter. That's important to hear that. Randy support this last year with the Regner Beach and things like that. That was really important also to get us to where we are today. So I just wanted to thank both those gentlemen for all your years of service for West Bend. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That's what I got, Mike.
Anything else for good of the order? Otherwise, I will adjourn.
Thank you.
That's the best part.